Oh, there we go. Wow, almost forgot to put myself into my own show. That was kind of crazy. Good evening. How is everybody doing out there this evening? I am your host, of course. I am Dale, and I'm glad some of you guys can join me here tonight. Um, yeah, no, I was supposed to have a guest here tonight, but they had other things that were going on. So I just thought, you know what? I'm going to take this opportunity just to come out here and I'm just going to talk to everybody, check in on anybody. If anybody's out there, anybody that's part of the show would like to join me up on here, I can always put the invitation into the comments, and anybody's more than welcome to join me up on the show. It's just a little show just to talk about what's going on, what's happening in the world, how everybody's doing, just to make sure everybody's doing okay, everybody's taking care of themselves. We're all going through some trying times right now, and like usual, I always like to start off the show is always like to read a quote from a song. I listen to music a lot. Music is a huge part of my life. I worked in the music industry for many years, worked with some really great people. Um, I miss you too, Rhonda. I hope you're doing well over there. I hope you're staying warm out of this cold, frigid weather. It is absolutely crazy how cold it is out there. I ran out a little bit a while ago just to go pick up some stuff from Walmart, and like, oh my God, it's like almost like froze myself to death. But yeah, it's quite chilly out there. I hope everybody's staying warm. I know we're all under this vortex or whatever the weather wants to call it. But yeah, no, like I said, just I thought I'd take this opportunity to just come out here and talk. And like I said, anybody out there, anybody who wants to join us, uh, wants to pop on and just talk about anything. You know what? This is really not about really a particular thing. I mean, I do mostly want to focus in because I've noticed a lot of this lately, is a lot of people are really, really struggling with mental health right now. We're all going through stuff. And me, like particularly, and I'll get into a little bit of that a little bit later on. But like I said, I just wanted to come out here and I just want to start things off with talking about a quote from one of my favorite songs. This song is called "Delight" by a favorite band of mine called Disturbed. And the one part of the lyrics, it says, "When you think all is forsaken, listen to me now. You need never to feel broken again because sometimes darkness shows you the light." And that is so true amongst a lot of us and those who are struggling with, depression and anxiety and whatever other mental health issues you might be going through this time. And, a lot of people don't realize just how difficult it can be at times to just function and just to just to get up every day. As I admit it, I'm not shy to talk about it. I'm not afraid to talk about it. I do suffer from mental illness, and I have for many, many years. I can't even remember uh, when I was initially diagnosed. I know it was probably back, I want to say in the 90s or 1990s when I was diagnosed with depression. It was after my first suicide attempt. I uh, I was committed into a hospital, as where I would talk to doctors and everything to realize what I was going through. Hey, Sparky's Paranormal, thank you for listening, and I'm so glad you can be here today. But yeah, it is just one of those. Yeah, it was the 90s when I got diagnosed with severe depression and anxiety. Like I said, it was after my first suicide attempt. Uh, it was a pretty scary time in my life. I do remember bits and parts of it. Um, so yeah, I can always remember. I was in the hospital. I was going through a really tough time. So yeah, I just let So, yeah, I started talking to doctors. They were always trying to put me on pills. I tried the pills for a while. I kind of never even liked how I felt when I was on the medication. So, but I did what I did. I talked to my doctors and let everything try to figure things out that way. And as I got older, of course, then the paranormal came into my life. I want to say well, I was always into the paranormal because I've always dealt with things. Just all most of my life, it all started when I was very young. But as I was getting more and more into the paranormal, and I was meeting some pretty amazing people in my life, uh, I truly realized on just how many people really do suffer from mental illness, and it was comforting knowing and being able to openly talk about mental illness to people because like I said, you never know what people are going through around you because, for the longest time, it's a big stigma that a lot of people didn't talk about mental illness, didn't talk about what they were going through. But here I am nowadays, and I'm kind of like an advocate, talking to people about being open, being honest, and just talking about what's on your mind. Uh, I just, mental illness affects about 1 in 5 people will experience some kind of mental illness or mental problems, however you want to put it. But it is an illness, but at the same time, I don't think of it as an illness as like being sick or having cancer or any of that crazy stuff. But yeah, nevertheless, it is an illness. It can be helped with medication for the most part, if that's what people are truly truly relying on. I decided that I would take a different approach when I really started to understand that the imbalance in your mind can really, if you can figure it out and go down that road and just try to figure it out. I mean, yes, years of therapy kind of did help. It did help me open up my eyes, help me realization as where it comes from. What affects it, and I think that's the most important thing for anybody who suffers from any of this is the fact that you just got to understand what is going on inside you. Um, well, what things trigger this and stuff like this. So that was the number one step of me traveling down this road of learning about my mental illness and what it was that triggered it and kind of things because it's a lot of other things. It is, to me, it's comes from years of uh not just like mental abuse, not so much physical abuse, because I mean most of my mental abuse came from relationships that I was in, and always thinking that I was always in the wrong, that everything I did was wrong, and just the whole, I guess, being with a narcissist and how they can beat you down and make you feel worthless and how you truly don't kind of just forget about who you are and yeah, it's so a lot of that was a part of it, and then just growing up, being different from everybody, being bullied, uh, always being picked on. Nobody ever really wanted to talk to me. And this is far from being, oh, this is a pity story about Dale. It is not a pity story. It's just knowing the background and where I've come from and where I am today compared to where I was many, many years ago in my journey of dealing with depression each and every day. I know recently I've been struggling a little bit more to getting back to everyday things. Right now, the reason why I'm struggling today is because I was recently laid off from my job. And I mean, I've always been somebody who's constantly always worked all their lives, always did things. Uh, but yeah, so that's where I am right now. I'm struggling just because not being at work, I kind of feel useless. I feel like I'm not valuable. Um, but that's so like each and every day. I was always one that worked a regular job, uh, kind of like a 9 to 5 type of job. And but now with that not being there, it kind of takes away a little bit of my routine, things that I'm used to doing every day. So it's kind of triggering me right now to not be able to function as fully as I would like to. Like, I am currently writing a book, but even that's a struggle sometimes because you're just, to me, I can't focus well enough to uh, kind of sit down long enough to even write a chapter or write a few sentences and stuff like that. But it's also helping me at the same time because for anybody who's ever written a book, um, it's a great process. It's very therapeutic because you get to talk about things that have happened, but at the same time, it's also for me, it's a lot of soul searching deep down. So yeah, I kind of try to blend my time in with doing that, trying to pick up the slack from you know uh, what my regular routine was compared to what it is right now. And that, like I said, that is what's affecting me right now. It's just because I feel useless and I don't feel like I'm worthy because I'm not being a contribution to society. I just feel so, yeah, a lot of times, like even like today, just didn't want to get out of bed at all, didn't want to do anything. Was even double guessing myself about even coming out here to talk about what it is that I'm going through and the mental illness and all that stuff. But you know what? Uh, I got to do it because I got to keep pushing myself. Because if I don't, then just fall. I just to fall into the same trap is then I'll just be sitting alone in the dark, under the covers, not wanting to deal with society at all. And that's the way a lot of people feel. We all feel alone. We all feel like nobody really wants to be here for us, wants to talk to us, don't even care. But, that is so far from the truth. I've got many, many really amazing friends, people who I really love and trust. And I know I can pick up a phone at any time and just give them a call and say, "Hey, you know what are you doing? Let's go for a coffee." Or, "Hey, do you got a few minutes so I can talk?" It just kind of uh, you know, just let it all out because it's frustrating to hold everything inside because that's where you start traveling down many roads. And uh, like I said, it is no secret what I've dealt with in my life as far as being depression and my suicide attempts has gone. And I mean, uh, I was just on a show not too long ago, and I said, I'm glad that there's one thing that I really suck at, and I guess that is actually committing suicide. And I'm not making light of that whatsoever because the suicide rate is just it's right now it's absolutely crazy and it's really out there. I mean, I could probably say that on average, probably there's a dozen people who commit suicide a day, and it's because it's people who feel alone and they feel like they have no one to talk to, no place to turn to, and they also feel like life will be better without them. And and I want to say, if you're one of those people that are listening in on this broadcast today, either right now live with me or somewhere down the road, and this gets to you, I hope you're listening because you are not alone in this fight. You'll never be alone in this fight. You probably have a lot of people around you who truly love you and want you here. And a saying that I always say is that tomorrow always needs you, and that is true. There. today's feelings are doesn't necessarily have to go unnoticed, and they're not permanent. It's only a situation that you're in now. The ways that I usually get like when I'm really feeling down, I mean, my number one thing is, yeah, to always just call a friend and just go for a coffee or go hang out somewhere. But it's mostly just to get out of my current environment and just jump in the car and go for a drive because there's nothing that I love more than driving through the county, looking at the beautiful scenery. And right now, it's really nice. You get to see everything snow covered. It's beautiful, and it's so peaceful out there. So yeah, I mean, you just got to figure out what works for you to kind of get you out of the slump of uh, what you are in at this moment. But uh, because there's always ways, and that's the one thing that I found is that you always have to find out what triggers you, as well as what are some of the things you can do that will kind of get you out of that funk, that mindset, that space that you're in where you're not feeling so valuable in at the moment. So it's so there you always just got to find what it is that you can do. I mean, it might be, go bowling, go for a car ride, just even if it is to go sit in a mall somewhere and just grab a coffee and go sit at the mall and just watch people. Uh, because sometimes just watching people can help you change your mindset and how you're feeling at the moment, or listening to a song, or for me also too, another way that I get out of my funk is I go to the gym. I love going to the gym. Uh, Sparky's got a comment here. It says, "So many people go through this more than most people know. How many of us were raised just not to share?" Sparky, that is Sparky's paranormal. That is so true. I mean, and I mean, I can really relate to that because, as far as I know, people in my family really didn't talk about it because you didn't want to be the one. And I mean, I know for most of us, our parents just said, well, just go play outside or go do something and you'll forget about it. Or the common phrase is just get over it. Nothing irks me more than people that just say get over it. If it was that easy to just get over it, then mental health would not be at an all-time high. And uh, it's It's difficult. I mean, like I said, if like I said, if you could just get over it, then you know, w- suicide rates would be down. People wouldn't have to go through every day feeling the way that they do. So you know, so when somebody is trying to open up to you, listen. Just you don't have to. We know not everybody's a psychiatrist, not everybody's a therapist, not everybody has the answers. But the one thing that people can do that not a lot of people will do is just listen. Because if that person can talk, they're opening up. They're making themselves very vulnerable to you. And it doesn't take much just to listen and just to be an ear for them to it'll make them feel a little bit better, and kind of just knowing that you are there, you will listen, and at some points, like I said, we've all suffered from some type of mental illness, or you do deal with it, you just have a different way of dealing with it. But most of all, just listening is in most ways just the best way to help somebody, because like I say, you could be a complete stranger, send me a message I will give you my personal number. I have no issues with giving people my personal number. If you want to reach out and talk, if you just want to vent or something's frustrating you and that's how you're dealing with your depression or your anxiety at that moment, and you just have to get it all off your chest. I'll be that person. I will just listen, and I will just after you're done, you can hang up the phone and go on with your day. I mean, I appreciate that, Rhonda. Like I said, you are truly amazing. Uh, and I like I said, I am very blessed to be surrounded by some of the most amazing people that I can ever think of. And I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for some of the people in the paranormal. And through my speaking engagements, I always say that it was the paranormal that saved my life. And that would not be more true because of the people who care and the people who get it. And, not everybody deals with depression the same way. Or mental illness the same way. Like I said, it affects us all, but it affects us all in a different way. So yeah, it's just to know, and I mean, as Dustin Perry always says it in everyday messages, it's just you never know what's going on with people. So just be kind to one another. It's not that hard. I mean, it's the world's an ugly place, and right now there's a lot of people that seems to be really hating on each other for many different reasons. And I mean, uh, it could just because of politics. It could be because of where you work. It could be because of your belief system. It could be because of many different things. But people just are so quick to judge and hate. And instead of stopping and understanding why people can hate each other so quickly without even really knowing why. I mean, there's so many people out there that just hate people for the reason why because of people that they hang around with, people that they associate with. Like I said, it could be over religious beliefs, it could be over political beliefs. But you know what? At the end of the day, everybody's allowed to have their opinions. People are all allowed to have what they believe is right or wrong. But we all just need to just talk about it and come to some kind of mutual understanding. Uh, you know, uh, everybody's tied up in this paradrama that's going on and stuff like that. And to me, I step back and that's the one thing I try to distance myself with, not just because I don't want to be a part of it, but also too, negativity affects my mental health. I can't stand to be in a room where people they do nothing but talk negative and stuff like that. It's just like I got to get away from that stuff because people who are very sensitive and people that just can absorb other people's emotions, like they suck that all in and then they start wearing it and then they start feeling crappy about themselves. I agree with you. Uh, just focus on goals, raise your vibration, and however you do that as well. I mean, you could do that in many ways. It could be through meditation. It could be like me. I go to the gym. I find going to the gym, it really raises my vibration because I'm around a lot of really like-minded people at the gym. We're all there for a reason. Not some of us, of course, we're there to get in shape. Some of us are there to help maintain a lifestyle, but at the same time, in the end, uh, we're all there. But we're all there. We're all there together. We're all in the gym. We're all working towards a goal. And like I said, and it's inspiring to look around the gym and you see people of all different uh, backgrounds and ethnic values and whatnot. But you know what? When you're inside the gym, you are all the same. It's the same as when we are all at a paranormal event, like when we are all together, it's amazing the feeling and the joy that it is to be around all like-minded people. You find a comfort in it, you find family. Yeah, I mean, that's so true. Empathic cannot be around un unauthentic people. Sorry, having a hard time talking to you, folks. Yes, there's nothing worse than being around phonies. uh, and it was once said to me and Michael John, my brother, my best friend, the co-host of the Paranormal Voice with me. When we first started out doing the Paranormal Voice, we did an interview with two amazing people, and I'm not going to go into name dropping, uh, but everybody knows who they are. But right after the interview, we were talking, and the one guest turned around to me and Michael John, and they said that the one thing that is the hardest to fake is passion. You can't fake passion. Passion is either something you have or something you don't have. And the passion that I have for the paranormal, and I've always had for the paranormal, it is like I tell people, I can eat, sleep, and breathe paranormal because I love it. It does a lot. It does a lot for me, and like I said, because of what I've experienced throughout my life at such a young age, it's just something I feel totally comfortable with being a part of. And so, yeah, passion. There, it's amazing when you're around so many passionate people on the paranormal and at these events. It just makes you feel so uplifted, uh, what am I trying to say here? My mind's going a million miles a minute. Uh, Sparker says, if you need to talk, 988 and vets hit 110 and somebody will listen. Yeah, no, there are all kinds of help lines out there that for people that truly need somebody to talk to. Uh, that there are places, but you know what? Some people might even be uncomfortable with calling these numbers and talking to somebody who is a total stranger and stuff like that. But at least that is an option out there. It is a really good option. I mean, these are created by the mental health associations. Uh, I agree with you. I agree. So many of us see our "I love me" rooms, but but for some of us, it's a reminder that we have and can do good. I agree with that absolutely. It's and I agree with this is always check your ego at the door because there is no room for egos anywhere. This whole mentality said, "Oh, I'm better than you. You're not doing this right." I mean, who is the expert in this world? Is there truly a paranormal expert out there? Is there somebody out there who is the know-it-all of the paranormal field? And that's the one thing that I find hard to believe. Even people who I think are experts don't even call themselves experts. They're just people like you and I who have been fortunate enough to be able to become well known because of the paranormal field. But at the end of the day, we all put our pants on the same way. We all use the same equipment. We all go investigate some of the same places, and a lot of us all come up with the same answers. So it's yeah, it's we just need to all come together and work together because egos in the paranormal really need to be put aside for the most part because we're all working towards the same common goal. And Sparky says, I work with vets and first responders on this. It's always amazing when you ask them who have they affected, changed their lives, and helped. It's a reminder to flip out of the pity to do I have done. Sorry. It's a reminder to flip out of the pity to I have done good. Hey, Sparky, congratulations, and I commend you on working with vets and first responders. And I mean, those are people in this field or in this world that probably need to talk the most about their jobs and what they've been through. And I mean, PTSDs and a lot of first responders and vets are huge because they get to see things on a daily basis that a lot of us in the world don't get to see, and probably we should be thankful for that. I know a lot of really great first responders out there, and I always say thank you to the great jobs that they're doing, and even right now, everybody should be praying for all everybody who's helping the out in California, helping to fight these wildfires because those people are seeing stuff that and it's devastating to be down there and be in the midst of all that and having to take all that in. It's like they need people to talk to. And, you know, how many of those people down there that are helping with these wildfires right now are going to be the ones that are going to end up with PTSD and having long-term effects of what they're seeing? So yeah, it's just being there for one another, talking to one another, just being a set of ears, being a shoulder, being a friend. Like I said, it doesn't take much. I would rather talk to you than read about your obituary. Um, so like I said, because once you're gone, that is it. There's no coming back. Uh, so I'm a part of One More Day Riders of Idaho to help first responders and Leos for someone that's been there. There's groups out there for everyone. That's great. Like I said, that is truly, and I commend you for doing that. I mean, that is so great that you are out there and you. I'm not sure what Leos are. If you can put that in the comments, what that stands for, um, that would be great. But there's so many great uh, events out there for people who are out there supporting uh, mental health awareness, people that are dealing with stuff. So it says if there is all to know, all paranormal, I would love to know and talk. We're all just doing what we do in life. Try things. Some work, some don't, and change what we do and move on. True. You know what? Yeah, we're just all out there. Like I said, I mean, I never knew anything about paranormal investigations. I mean, I learned all my paranormal investigation from watching shows like Ghost Adventures, Ghost Hunters, Paranormal State, and stuff like that. I mean, that's where I learned about. But yeah, I went out there, tried some of the stuff that I saw on TV. Some stuff didn't work. Some stuff did work. So you try different things. You see what out there and what you can do. So yeah, but like I said, for people that are out there, they say, "Well, we're experts, and you don't know what you're doing." It's like, yeah, really, because I really would like to sit down with some of those people and just hear what they have to say, and just not that I would disagree with their if that's what you think you want to label yourself as an expert, then so be it. But I mean, you're putting yourself on a pretty high pedestal, and kind of just, you know, to me, you're just kind of setting yourself up to, we're all doing what we're doing out there. We're all doing it because we love it. We're out there just trying to get the same answers. Like I said, in the end, we're all in this for the same reason, and that is to understand what happens to us in the afterlife, or even like myself, it's not even what's going to happen to us in the afterlife, but I just want to know why some people can have some pretty amazing paranormal experiences, but yet some people who really want a paranormal experience doesn't seem to be able to have those types of experiences. I just tell people who want an experience but can't or not seeming to have an experience. I just tell them maybe you're not ready, and when the time is right, you are going to have a pretty outstanding experience, something that's going to last for you forever. I mean, I can remember my very first paranormal experience, but don't ask me what I did last week because I won't remember. It wasn't that memorable. But for what happened to me at such a young age, um, I can remember that because it is so burned and embedded in my mind that I just can never forget it, and I tell that story quite often. It says, "Cops are worse than vets on talking. I'm a 15-year retired cop. It's been some time. No one does dues, and when a cop retires and leaves, they are on their own." Uh, wow, 15 years. Wow, that is truly amazing, and thank you for all those years that you served and protected your community. Uh, I mean, yeah, I could probably see that police officers and EMTs are probably the hardest to open up because they see a lot and they go through a lot, and for them, I mean, probably talking would be best, but at the same time, I would think that it's hard for them to open up because, I mean, they're talking about other personal matters, and sometimes the details can be so horrific that it's just hard to talk about without everybody then wanting to question you like a million times over. But there should be aftercare. Like once you are done, you're retired from. I know vets have it. Like there are areas in the government that even after you leave your position of serving in the armed forces or whatever it is that you did, and you saw combat, that there are areas where you can still call up and they still have people you can talk to. I think that should be the same way for first responders across the board, that even long after you retire, you should have that option to have people to talk to and to continue with uh, talking about what it is that you've experienced after all those years of being a first responder. Because, like I said, they get to see and deal with stuff that most of us, yeah, we watch it in a movie, but that doesn't directly affect us because we're watching it through a screen. Not say it doesn't affect some of us, because it does affect some of us when we watch something so horrific on the movie screens. Uh, Take for instance, I just went to see that new movie, the new vampire movie. The name is eluding me. Uh, Anyways, it's the new vampire movie out there. But there's one scene in the movie where uh, the guy who is changing is sitting there and he's biting the heads off of pigeons. And it was so graphic in the movie. It was like, really? Did they really need to show that? Because that was disturbing. Now, I know it wasn't a real pigeon, it was a fake pigeon, but the sounds and the graphics of it, it was like, wow, that was really horrible and to even think about. But I mean, it was a movie. So yeah, it can affect some of us in different ways. So, so Sparky here. Sparky. So the paranormal, I lean on audio. I do use other things, but what is your idea on app spare boxes and such? Now, are you talking about the apps that you can find in your iTunes or your iTunes or stuff like that? There are a couple of apps that way that I do use every once in a while. Oh, excuse me. Uh, the one is let me. It's been a while since I actually used it, so oh, here it is. I do have one. It's an Ovilus, but it was created by Digital Dowsing. They're the people that created the actual Ovilus. Uh, and there's another one that I use also. If I can get to that one, where this one's called Signal Spirit Communication. This was a download that I bought, and I forget who put it out there, but that's another good one. But then again, it's like everything else. When you're using an app, especially when it's an app on your phone or whatnot, you got to take it with a grain of salt. That is not 100% uh, legitimate, I would say, because for the most part, you are using an app that is part of electronic. So yeah, but if you're using that with, say, an actual spirit box like an SB7 or a Frank's box or any one of those spirit boxes that are out there, those spirit boxes I enjoy a lot. I do have an SB7 that I use out in the field. Got some really cool communication with it. But then again, you're using radio frequencies in order to pick up on a sound or check for something. Um, so yeah, like I said, once again, it is a tool. You got to take it with a grain of salt. My favorite thing is that if I'm using like a spirit box, a video camera, and a digital recorder, and if I can get all three to give me the exact same evidence, like obviously with the video camera, I'm going to pick up a shadow or I'm going to pick up orb or some kind of energy that's in the room. And then on my digital recorder, I get a saying, but then on the app, I get something very similar. I'm going to put those three together and say, yes, something must have happened because, you know, three things can't be wrong, especially if they're picking up something that's very similar. That's and just getting back to paranormal experiences. An analogy that I usually say is that too is uh, 10 people can be in a room, something can happen, but you're going to have 10 different people who have a different experience. You know, everybody heard the same thing. It just means that, but we all experience a little bit different. So yeah, but yeah, paranormal equipment. It was all definitely created for a different use. It actually wasn't never created for the paranormal, but we use it because it's been able to PO3. Yeah, it's fantastic when you get activity on multiple devices for sure. And I mean, to me, that is more giving you a better understanding than if you're just using one device and holding that to a holy grail. Because I truly don't think that that is that because I mean a lot of our equipment can be tricked. It can be triggered. A lot of devices can be picked up. Like even if a car goes by outside, because most cars are computers nowadays, that it can affect your equipment. I always make sure when I'm on an investigation that everybody's phones are turned off or at least put on airplane mode. So you got at least let her a better chance of not being affected by that. But yeah, no, I find all the paranormal equipment so fascinating. There's so many toys that I would love to buy and own out there. Unfortunately, as we all know, the paranormal it is a very expensive hobby, but like I said, I truly love it, and it has really helped me with my mental illness. Like I said, it has helped me in so many different ways that I can't even uh, truly let the people know who have truly been there for me and through every aspect of my life and just become a good friend that that yeah I get to be around some amazing people and like I said mental illness we all have to deal with it, we all go through it, we all deal with it in a different way, and the way that I've learned how to deal with is I've really dug down deep in with my understanding mental health and how it affects me. And Sparky says, what is it? It says, I love the SP7 so far. I think I got a good information around 30%. Yeah, I mean, 30%, that's pretty huge. That is an absolutely amazing. I mean, uh, yeah, it's just one of those things, especially when you're asking direct questions. I mean, I know a lot of people outside the field says, well, you're picking up radio frequencies, so it could be something else that somebody's saying. But it's really hard to debate it when you're asking a particular question and it just happens to come out. I mean, yeah, you're skinning across multiple stations rapidly at the time, but at the same time, it's pretty hard when something comes out and it just feels like it's so point on, and that's where the multiple device things come in, and hopefully across multiple devices you'll pick that up. Agreed. Agreed. In our community, there are wonderful people that become just like family. Absolutely, and those are some of the best. You guys as well. Yeah, I mean, I love you guys. You guys are out there in the community. You guys, PO3 in this area, do some really amazing charity work and fundraising for a lot of really amazing locations right here in our area. And I love that they're out there. They're doing it, and they're really creating a sense of a buzz because like their events sell out really quickly whenever they're in the area. Uh, it if you're not on it on day one, chances are you're not getting you're not getting into any of their events. So yeah, so follow those guys. PO3. Follow them on Facebook. Like I said, they do some pretty amazing events locally in this area, and like I said, they're always fun to hang out with. They're very knowledgeable. Uh, and they're just great people altogether. And that's the great thing is when you get to know these amazing people, uh, and they become more than just friends. They become a family to you. So yeah, we always I always tell people if you're going to be in the Windsor area, especially around October, they do a lot of really great events here. Uh, uh, so yeah, check them out, see what they're up to. If you can make it to the area, like I said, you'll never be disappointed. They always do. It's always great fun hanging out with those guys. Uh, yes, the most unreliable evidence is that to recall verbal statements. 10 people can all have different recall due to being scared. And those, yeah, no, that is true. And that's why I said 10 people in the room, everybody's going to have a different experience because paranormal experiences are are catered to who you are and where you're at into the paranormal field. Uh, like I said, we all have different paranormal experiences. We can all go investigate the same locations. And this is where working together works, is because if we put all that information together, uh, you can really get down to what really happened in that location. Uh, all right. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it. And I hope you have an amazing day too. And yeah, just keep doing what you're doing. It's truly amazing. But yeah, but like I said, I wasn't sure where this show was going to go, but I'm glad that got some interaction over on the side there. It's always great to talk to people. It's hard to get out, especially in the wintertime. I know there's not a lot of investigations going on, especially in the extreme cold like we're having right now. But I just want to come out here, talk a little bit about mental health, talk a little bit about the paranormal, talk a little bit what's going on. So this show right here, this is my new show. This is Seeking Vibes. This, I believe, is my fifth episode. So, like I said, it's still brand new. I'm just out here by myself. I have my normal show, The Paranormal Voice, with my co-host Michael John. We are going to be returning with The Paranormal Voice coming back in February. We're just lining up some guests right now. Seeking Vibes happens every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Gathering that I have a guest. I might not have a guest every Tuesday, but I try my best to get as many amazing people out there as I can. Join me next week as I have a truly amazing lady coming on. Sorry, I had to get a drink there. Mouth gets a little dry when you're talking. Uh, so yeah, next week I have one of my amazing friends from Michigan, Kelly Hopla, coming on. She is the organizer of an online paranormal event called Paraventure that is going to be happening this April, and all the money being raised as part of this fundraiser is going to autism. We're going to be talking about that next week. Her event, she's got some amazing speakers lined up. The Paranormal Voice is all a part of that. We're going to be doing some interviews with the speakers, and we're also vendors for it. So we're going to be talking a little bit. But also Kelly's journey has been truly amazing. She's done some truly amazing stuff. Broke some barriers for females in the corporate world. So she's going to be out here talking about all of that, and I can't wait. Like I said, I've really got to know Kelly. We did our road trip together up to Sage Paracon last year, so we joined our forces together, and we rode up in my car, and I really got to know her. And like I said, it was somebody I never knew, but yet I got to know her, and now I consider her a really close friend. She's really amazing. So yeah, she's going to be on next Tuesday, 8 p.m. I hope you guys can join in. She's truly amazing. Learn about what Paraventure is all about. Talk about what it is that it's going, what the details of all that is. So everybody, I just want to say I love everybody. I love the interaction. I love what I'm doing. Uh, So yeah, if anybody out there, if you have something you want to come on Seeking with Vibes, talk about your journey, talk about anything you've overcome, and anything you're doing out there to make a difference in the world. And as my new saying goes, one person may not be able to change the world, but it doesn't mean you can't change the world for one person. And that is truly amazing for people who are out there helping each other, people who are out there just making a difference in everyday lives, people who've overcome challenges in life. Like I said, I know the guest that was supposed to be here today, somebody who was a drug addict and changed their life around, and now they are making a huge difference in the world. As soon as I get that show rescheduled, I'm looking forward to having this person on as well. But folks, that's going to do it for me tonight. I thank you so much for tuning in. For those that are listening, I appreciate you. I love you. For those that are going to be listening on later on, please make sure you go over to my YouTube page, Seeking Vibes Podcast on YouTube. Hit like, subscribe, and always keep up to date to what I'm doing with. I'm always out there. And in the meantime, if you ever need somebody to talk to, know I'm here for you. I love you. Be safe. And always know that you are never alone in this world. With that, everybody, have a good night.